Shankaracharya writes, the dharma that comes down in tradition, it is twofold dharma. Sahacha Bhagavan Srishtva idam jagat He created this world, Bhagavan created this world. Tasya sthitim chikirshuhu. Having created the world, he wanted to maintain it. Not to create and then leave. He has to maintain it. How to maintain the creation? He created two types of people to maintain the jagat. Tasya srishtasya jagataha sthitim chikirshuhu. What are these two types of people? That is, one is Marichyadin agre sishtva prajapatin. He created one set of people called prajapatis. Marichi, etc. These are all prajapatis who are in charge of created jagat. What kind of charge they have with reference to creation? They are engaged in pravritti lakshanam. Prajapatin pravritti lakshanam dharmam grahayamasa. He made them accept pravritti lakshanam. Grahayamasa means he made them take to. For the Prajapatis, Marichi, etc., Prajapatis, they took to pravritti lakshanam. That pravritti lakshanam is we are all children of Prajapati. That is pravritti lakshanam. Prajapati is in charge of pravritti lakshanam. Therefore, every progeny of Prajapati is engaged in pravritti lakshanam dharmam. And because of that, jagat is sustained. If pravritti lakshana is not there, what will happen? Jagat will not be there. Prajapati created his progenies, and if they did not marry, what will happen? None of them marry, what will happen? There will be no jagat. Therefore, Prajapatis make sure that pravritti lakshanam dharmam is there in the creation. If pravritti lakshana dharma alone is there, then if one wants to get out of it, there is no way. Only pravritti lakshanam is there. Somebody wants to get out of this pravritti lakshanam, what they will do? Therefore, Bhagavan created another set of people. Vedoktam, this is Vedoktam pravritti lakshanam. Tataha anyanscha sanaka sanantanadin utpadya nivritti lakshanam dharmam grahaya masa. He created another set of people called Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara. Prajapati, they are all progenies of Prajapati. And they took to what? Nivritti lakshanam. They were initiated into Nivritti lakshanam dharmam. Nivritti lakshanam dharma means jnana marga. Pravritti lakshanam dharma means karma marga. Therefore, Vividohi Vedokto Dharma Pravritti Lakshano Nivritti Lakshanascha Jagataha Sthiti Karanam. For this Jagat Sthiti, for the sustenance of the Jagat, these are the two margas. Vedoktaha, it is revealed in the Vedas. Vivido Vedokto Dharma Jagataha Sthiti Karanam. Then the Jagat continues based on these two dharmas, pravritti lakshanam, nivritti lakshanam. And in pravritti lakshanam, what one has to follow dharma, nivritti lakshanam, what dharma one has to follow, Prajapati taught. This dharma, pravritti lakshana dharma he taught to Prajapatis, nivritti lakshana dharma he taught to Sanaka Sanantanadin. Therefore, Jagat should continue safely. Jagat continued safely. Somebody took to pravritti lakshana, somebody took to nivritti lakshana. If that is so, then there is no need for avatara. If pravritti lakshana, nivritti lakshana, it goes on in the way Prajapati gave, then everything is fine. Everything is okay. No need for any intervention by Bhagavan. Where is the need for intervention? Pravritti lakshanam is going on as smoothly. Nivritti lakshanam going on smoothly. There is no need for Bhagavan to intervene. But time has its role to play. Time has its hand in the dharma. What does this time do? Dirghena kalena. In the course of long time, dirgha kala. People were following pravritti lakshana, people were following nivritti lakshana. Therefore, dirghena kalena. As the time was proceeding, then gradually, due to the impact of time, what happens? Anushtatrinam kamodbhavat. Anushtatris, the followers of dharma, in their mind, some degradation takes place. Kama udbhava vegha. In course of time, gradually it happens. That is why these 4 yugas are also like that. Satya Yuga, everybody was right, leading a dharmic life. Treta Yuga, you have got all Rakshasas coming there. Rakshasas only, those Rakshasas are not like modern Rakshasas, we will see that. Those Rakshasas are dharmic. They will not come and hit you behind. They will always fight in front of you. That kind of Rakshasas like Ravana. Therefore, Kumbhakarna, that is Treta Yuga. And Dwapara Yuga still lesser dharma. All these things we find in Mahabharata. And Kali Yuga, still worse. What happened to dharma? Gradually there is decline. So now we have got Rakshasas who are in the form of human beings. Behaving, you have got Rakshasas in the form of human beings with no dharma. This is degradation of dharma. Dirghena kalena anushtatrinam kamodbhava vegena. Mind gets corrupt. Therefore, hiyamana viveka vijnanena. Viveka vijnanam gets affected. Hiyamana gets reduced. Affected. Hiyamana viveka vijnanena. Viveka vijnana is the casualty in the course of time. Then the viveka vijnanam is not there. Therefore, what happens? Abhibhuyamane adharmena dharme. Dharme adharmena abhibhuyamane. Dharma is overpowered by adharma. This happens in course of time. And pravardhamane adharme. Adharma increases, dharma decreases. Adharma thrives. Dharma is the casualty. then Bhagavan's intervention is required. Otherwise, avatara is not necessary. Therefore, when dharma is the casualty, adharma overpowers, then Bhagavan takes avatara. Therefore, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijam yaham. Bhagavan says, I take avatara. Here also, Shankaracharya writes, therefore, Saha Bhagavan Devakyam Vasudevad Amshena Krishna Kila Sambhabuva. In order to protect the dharma, Lord Krishna takes avatara. Devakyam Vasudevad Amshena. In the Devaki, Vasudeva Amshena Krishna Kila Sambhabuva. What for? In order to revive dharma. All these introductions are from the shlokas inside. Yada yada hi dharmasya is pointed out here. The Dvivido Vedokto dharma is pointed out in Lokesmin Dvividhanishta Pura Prokta Mayanaga. Therefore, the entire Bhagavad Gita he condenses in the introduction. Krishna Kila Sambhabuva. And what is this avatara? This avatara, Shankaracharya writes, avatara tattva in the one paragraph he writes. Saha Bhagavan, he is endowed with all Aishwaryas. Jnana, Aishwarya, Shakti, Balavirya, Tejobhi, Sada Sampannaha. Lord Ishvara, who is endowed with all Aishwaryas. Saha Bhagavan, Aishwarya, Shakti, Bala, Virya, Tejas, with all these various qualities, Sada Sampanna, endowed with them. Sada Sampanna, Swam Vaishnavim Mayam Vashikritya, keeping the Maya under his thumb. Swam Vaishnavim Mayam Mula Prakritim. Bhagavan has this Maya Shakti. Bhagavan's Maya Shakti is introduced here because without Maya Shakti, Bhagavan cannot create. Bhagavan in his true nature cannot create anything because he is Nirgunaha, Niravayavaha, Nirvikaraha, Nishkriyaha. Therefore, Bhagavan to create, he requires Maya Shakti. That Maya Shakti, when we talk of creation, Maya Shakti walks in. That Maya Shakti, keeping it under his control. Mula Prakritim Vashikritya. Vaishnavim Mayam. It is his Maya. Vishnoho Iyam. Vaishnavim Mayam. Mula Prakriti, cause for the whole creation. Vashikritya. And what kind of Bhagavan is? He is Ajaha. Bhagavan's true nature is what? Ajaha. He is birthless. Ajaha means birthless. Bhagavan doesn't have any birth. Avyayaha, he doesn't have any end. Ajaha, Avyayaha. He is Bhutanam Ishvaraha. He is the Lord of all beings. Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Apisan. He is Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, Nitya Mukta. San. Such Lord, as though he is born due to Maya. Maya Dehavan Eva. Shankaracharya writes Eva. Iva is very important. Bhagavan takes a body as though. Dehavan iva. Jataha iva. Lokanugraham kurvan iva. As though he is having a body, as though he is born, as though he is blessing the humanity. Because he is birthless. If there is a birth, for a birthless, if there is a birth, what kind of birth it is?
There is a death.
Huh?
If there is a birth, there is a death.
Yeah, death. He doesn't have a birth. If he doesn't have a birth and if you see with a body, what is it? As though. It is as though. Dehavaniva, Jatahaiva, Lokanagraham Kurvaniva, Lakshyate. He is presented having a body. In reality, there is no birth. The whole thing is
avatara.
Maya's play. Because Bhagavan, then one can ask, what is the nimitta for his birth? Our birth has got nimitta. What is our nimitta for our birth? Our karma. Our karma gives us a body like this. Ishvara has a body. What is the nimitta for that body? Even though we can say it is Maya Manusha Vigraha, it is born of Maya, what is the nimitta karanam for the body? That is our prayers. Jiva's prayers are nimitta for Bhagavan taking that particular sharira, particular time. If that nimitta is not there, either there will be no birth or always birth. At this time there is Krishna sharira because of the nimitta called Jiva's prayers. Therefore, Dehavan iva, Jataha iva, Lokanagraham kurvan iva lakshyate. And what is the purpose of life? Purpose of avatara? For dharma rakshanartham. The purpose is to protect dharma, to revive dharma, and the truth of avatara is as though. The nimitta for that as though also there should be nimitta. As though body also should have nimitta. That nimitta is Jiva's prayers. Therefore we have got Krishna. Krishna's avatara is there. And having taken avatara, swaprayojana abhavepi. He doesn't have any prayojanam of his own in order to function. Having taken avatara for his function, is there any prayojana? Swaprayojanam is not there. Swaprayojana abhavepi. Bhutanu jigrikshaya. Bhutanam anugraham kartum icchan. Bhuta anu jigrikshaya. What did he do? In order to bless the humanity, having taken the sharira, in order to bless the humanity, what did he do? Arjunaya upadidesha. He taught Arjuna. He taught Arjuna this twofold dharma. Pravritti lakshanam, nivritti lakshanam. This twofold dharma he taught to Arjuna. Arjunaya upadidesha. Why should he teach Arjuna? What is the prayojanam? Because Arjuna was shoka moha mohodadav nimagnaya. What kind of Arjuna? Like us. Arjuna like us. Therefore it is valid for us. If it helped Arjuna, it will help me also. Arjuna was shoka moha mahodadav nimagnaya, who was sunk. Nimagnaya means sunk. Sunk in the waters, ocean waters. Nimagnaya, what is it, waters, ocean? shoka moha mahodadi. The ocean of shoka, sorrow, moha, delusion. Shoka moha mahodado nimagganaya arjunaya upadidesha. He taught this vedoktam dharmam. Diprakaram dharmam upadidesha. Why he chose Arjuna? If he taught somebody else, it will not be carried further. Therefore, Arjuna is a great character. Gunadikairhi grihitah. If you teach something to a great person of great qualities, guna adhikaihi grihitah, when it is received by such people, and anushtiyamanah, practiced by them, gunadikairhi grihitah anushtiyamanah, dharma prachayam gamishyati. This dharma will spread. If you teach somebody who is sitting in a forest somewhere, dharma will not spread. Therefore, taught to Arjuna, who is a great person. When you come to know that a great person who has shoka moha got relieved, naturally we will take to that. Therefore, guna adhikairhi grihitah. Arjuna has guna adhikaihi. Arjuna's accomplishments are not small. We are nowhere near Arjuna. We are near Arjuna, at the same time we are nowhere near Arjuna. We are near Arjuna because shoka moha. He had shoka moha, we have shoka moha. We are very close. But we are nowhere near Arjuna in terms of guna, accomplishments. Arjuna's accomplishments are phenomenal. Therefore, such a person, when he receives the knowledge, it will get prachayam gamishyati. So it will spread. And this teaching which Lord Krishna gave to Arjuna, the same dharma, viprakaram dharmam, which was taught by Krishna to Arjuna, was captured by somebody. Who is that? Vyasaha. Imameva dharmam Vyasaha. Sarvajnaha is Sarvajna Kalpaha. Veda Vyasa is almost all knowledge. We can't say all knowledge because all knowledge is only one person, Ishvara. Two cannot be there. Or Sarvajna Kalpaha, who is almost omniscient, Veda Vyasa, who classified the Veda mantras into 4 for the sake of following, easy following. That Veda Vyasa, Shankaracharya writes Sarvajnaha. Bhagavan, he calls him Bhagavan. Shankaracharya calls Veda Vyasa as Bhagavan. No, don't worry. Shankaracharya calls Veda Vyasa as Bhagavan. Sarvajnaha, Bhagavan, Veda Vyasa, what did he do? Gita-khyaihi, saptabihi, shloka shataihi, upanibabandha. He captured the teaching in 700 verses called Gita. Gita-khyaihi, saptabihi, shloka shataihi. Shloka shata means 100. Sapta shloka shata is 700. Saptabihi shloka shataihi upanibabandha composed. The same teaching which Krishna gave to Arjuna, Vyasa gave in the form of Bhagavad Gita. How come Vyasa knows what was taught by Krishna to Arjuna? Sarvajnaha Bhagavan. Veda, that's why he gives adjectives. Otherwise somebody will ask the question, Veda Vyasaha Sarvajnaha Bhagavan Upanibabandha. This is Gita's Janma. Taught by Krishna to Arjuna, captured by Vyasa. Same dharma, dviprakaram dharma. Karma yoga, jnana yoga. Pravritti lakshanam, nivritti lakshanam. And this Gita which is, Shankaracharya writes, Samasta Vedartha Sara Sangraha Bhutam. Imam Gita Shastram Samasta Vedartha Sara Sangraha Bhutam. Sangraha Bhutam is essence. Essence of what?
Complete Vedanta.
Samasta Vedartha Sara. The essence of all the Vedas, the meaning of all the Vedas, Sangraha Bhutam. It is Durvijnayartham. It is 700 verses, but Durvijnayartham, very difficult to understand. You cannot study Gitas and understand the meaning unless you have got a commentary. Without a commentary, if you had only Moolam, 700 verses, are there no commentary? You will not know what is head or tail. Therefore, this one, Durvijnayartham. It is very difficult, Shankaracharya writes, it is very difficult to comprehend what is the teaching of 700 verses. But there were commentaries. Before you wrote, there were commentaries. Somebody asked, Shankaracharya says, even though anekaihi vivrita padapadartha vakyartha nyayam api, even though there were commentaries vivritam, commented upon before Shankaracharya, commented upon padapadartha vakyartha nyayam, they have followed all the other disciplines like grammar, mimamsa, all these shastras they followed and then wrote commentaries. But Shankaracharya says, Atyanta viruddhatvena. Atyanta viruddha anekartatvena. Each one says, this is the Tatparya of Gita, this is the Tatparya of Gita, which are opposed to one another. Atyanta viruddha anekartatvena. Lokikaihi grihyamanam upalabhya. Shankaracharya says, I see. I see upalabhya, I see what? Lokikaihi grihitam. People have taken to the meaning of Gita different way. Opposed to each other. Atyanta viruddha anekartatvena grihitam grihyamanam upalabhya. Therefore, I want to do proper commentary. Vivekataha artha nirdharanartham vivaranam karishye. Shankaracharya writes, I am writing a commentary. Vivekataha. Vivekataha means in keeping with what is right. They are all having their own conclusions. Approached Gita with their own conclusions. Whatever they think right, according to that they look at the Gita. You have to look at Gita what it says. Not what you want Gita to say. What you want Gita to say, if you look at that way, you will have all types of commentaries. Shankaracharya looks at it as Gita presents, the vision. Therefore, aham vivekataha artha nirdharanartham vivaranam karishye. tell what is the essence. What is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? He says, Tasya asya Gita Shastrasya Paramam Prayojanam Nishreyasam. Param Prayojanam Nishreyasam. Atyanta Samsara Uparama Lakshanam. Nishreyasam is freedom. Prayas, Shreyas, two words are there. Shreyas is moksha, freedom. Prayas is worldly results, material results. This is Gita's goal is to give you moksha, freedom. Freedom from seeking. It does not give you means how to seek. It gives an end to seeking. That is called Nishreyasam. We don't want to be seekers. We don't know what is alternative, therefore we seek. If there is a goal, how to end the seeking? Would you like to seek or end the seeking? Seeking, we get tired. Therefore we want an end to seeking. That is Shreyas. Shreyasam, what is it characterized by? Atyanta samsara uparama lakshanam. Characterized by total cessation. Total cessation of samsara. Atyanta uparama lakshanam. And that is moksha, that is the essence of Gita. Asya Gita Shastrasya param prayojanam. This is the ultimate end result. Tacha sarva karma sannyasa purvakat atmajnana nishta rupat dharmat bhavati. This moksha, how does it take place? He says, sarva karma sannyasa purvakat atmajnana nishta rupat bhavati. This nishreyas takes place by atmajnana nishtha. Atmajnana nishtha means abidance in the atmajnanam, self-knowledge. Abidance in self-knowledge. This is what the question you asked. After listening in the class, you go outside the gate. Then this Vethala was there, one Vikramaditya. Moment you go out, Vedala occupies. As long as the conversation was there, Vedala again comes. Similarly, this Atmajnana Nishtha is not there. Mere Atmajnanam is there. That Atmajnanam is subject to being replaced by other Jnanam. Atmajnanam is weak when it is pitted against other knowledge. That Atmajnanam is stronger when Nishtha. Atmajnana Nishtha Rupat Dharmat Bhavati. Shankaracharya clearly writes. Not Atmajnanat. Atmajnana Nishtha Rupat Dharmat. This Nivritta Lakshanam is Dharma. This Nivritta Lakshanam is characterized by what? Atmajnana Nishtha. That Atmajnana Nishtha doesn't take place. Therefore, Atmajnana Nishthartham, we have to do more. Not simply Shravanam, Mananam. We have to do Nididhyasanam. What is lacking is Nididhyasanam. Therefore, this Atmajnanam is swept away moment we go out. Swept away by what? By samsara. Swept away by all the other thoughts. Other thoughts are, what is other thoughts? What to buy today for cooking? Where to admit the children? Whom to approach for influence? How to manage office today? Hundreds of thoughts. These thoughts are stronger. Atmajnana thought is weaker because it doesn't have strength. It doesn't have strength. Therefore, when will it gain strength? Atma Jnana, when will it gain strength? When all those thoughts go away. All those thoughts, do they go away? In our experience, do it go away? It doesn't go away. All those thoughts continue to be there. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, Sarva karma sannyasa purvakat. Sarva karma sannyasa purvakat means preceded by renunciation of all actions. Don't get frightened. Sarva karma sannyasa purvakat means one can have this renunciation in the mind also. Not that one has to take to renunciation in form. One can get the renunciation in the mind. Therefore, one has to work for gaining the disposition of a sannyasi. If one gains the disposition of sannyasi in grihastha, then that disposition will make the Atma Jnanam as Atma Jnana Nishtha. Therefore, what is required? Disposition of sannyasi. In other words, nididhyasanam. For nididhyasanam is natural consequence of disposition of sannyasi. That is called vairagya. In other words, viveka vairagya. If viveka vairagya is there in adequate measure, then Atma Jnanam gradually becomes what? Atma Jnana Nishtha. Sarva karma sannyasa purvakat Atma Jnana Nishtha rupa dharmat bhavati. Shankaracharya quotes from Anugita to confirm this is what the Shastra's tatparyam is, prayojanam is. Yes, naiva dharmi, nacha dharmi, nachaiva shubha shubhi, nachaiva shubha shubhi. Yasyad ekasane linaha tushnim kinchit achintayan jnanam sannyasa lakshanam. And Gita itself he quotes sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. All these quotations he gives to support the tatparya that he has arrived at from Bhagavad Gita. This is the tatparya. What is the tatparya of Bhagavad Gita? One has to gain Atma Jnana Nishtha. For Atma Jnana Nishtha, one should have Viveka Vairagya leading to a disposition of sannyasi, mental disposition of sannyasi, which enables one to do nididhyasanam. By nididhyasanam, you get Atma Jnana Nishtha. One has to do for a length of time. Not 1 day, 2 days. One has to do for a length of time. So, Atma avare shrotavyaha mantavyaha nididhyasitavyaha. Drashtavyartam. Atma avare drashtavyaha. Atma has to be known, seen, known. For knowing Atma, you have to do Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. If Nididhyasanam is not necessary, Shruti would not have said Nididhyasi Tavyaha. Tavyaha means what? Should be done. Then, this is one Tatparya of Bhagavad Gita. Then, this is Nivritti Lakshana Dharma's ultimate end. And what about Pravritti Lakshanam? Shankaracharya says, Yaha Pravritti Lakshanaha Dharmaha, the Dharma that is characterized by Pravritti, that also Pravritti Lakshanaha Dharmaha, Devadi Sthana Prapti Heturapi Sanna. By this Pravritti Lakshanam, one can get Devadi Sthanam, one can gain Devas Janma. Pravritti Lakshanam can take you to Swarga, even Brahma Loka. Devadi Sthana Prapti Hetu. They are all Hetu, cause for Prapti of Devadi Sthana. Indradi Padavis one can get by Pravritti Lakshana Dharma. Devadi Sthana Prapti Heturupi Sanna Ishwararpana Buddhya Anuštiyamana. When you follow this Pravritti Lakshana for surrendering the actions to Ishvara. Ishwararpana Buddhya. I do this action because I am expected to do. I don't do this action keeping in mind arthakama, various ends. Ishwararpana buddhya. I offer all my actions unto Ishvara. I do this action for the sake of Ishvara. For the sake of Ishvara means what? That is what Ishvara expects me to do. This is what Ishvara expects me to do, therefore I do. Not I like, therefore I do. What I like will be seeing the TV. That is not. For what I am expected to do, I do. Ishwararpana buddhya anuštiyamanaha sattva shuddhaye bhavati. That actions will conduce for what? Sattva shuddhi, meaning antakarana shuddhi. Sattva shuddhaye bhavati. Sattva shuddhi dvara, when the mind becomes pure, then jnana yogyata prapti hetuhu bhavati. That pure mind will conduce for what? Jnana yogyata prapti. Mind has to be adequately prepared. It should have the yogyata, it should have the qualification in order qualification to receive the knowledge. For that, what is required? Sattva shuddhi. For that, what is required? Ishwararpana buddhi, prasada buddhi. Therefore, sattva shuddhi dvara jnana yogyata prapti hetuhu bhavati. Then, once you have the jnana yogyata prapti, then from that you get the jnana prapti, jnana nishtha prapti. The pravritti lakshana dharma also is for what? Nivritti lakshanam. Pravritti lakshanam is for nivritti lakshanam. The pravritti lakshanam is properly done. If it is for arthakama, samsaraya bhavati. If it is for sattva shuddhi, mokshaya bhavati. Jnana nishtha dvara, mokshaya bhavati. This is the essence of Gita Shastra. Shankaracharya presents all these things. And therefore it has got Anubandha Chatushtaya it has got. In order to write a commentary, you should, before you write the commentary, you should give all the four factors. When you write a text, you should give all these four factors. What is the Vishaya? Subject matter. What is the Prayojana? The result. What is the, who is the Adhikari? One who is qualified for that study. And then the Sambandha between the Jnanam and the result. With all these four factors have to be said in the Shastra. In the last paragraph, Shankaracharya says that it has got all these four Anubandha Chatushtayas are there. Therefore, Vishaya is mentioned already. Vishaya is Brahma Jnanam, the Jnanam of the self, Atma Vidya. Therefore, Atma is the Vishaya for this text. Therefore, it has got Vishaya. Vishaya is not anything else except Atma. Therefore, this Vedanta Shastra is not scientific. Vedanta Shastra is not scientific. Vedanta Shastra is not scientific. What is the subject matter of Vedanta? I, the Atma. What is the subject matter of science? Object. Therefore, Vedanta does not have any access to objects. For objects, you have got all sciences are there. Any object you take, hundreds of disciplines of knowledge is there. You can take to any discipline of knowledge and study any object. Vedanta does not enter there. Vedanta's science cannot have access to Atma. Atma doesn't have access to objects. Therefore, each has got its own specific boundary. Vedanta does not talk about anything of the world. Vedanta accepts your eyes. Vedanta accepts your ears. Vedanta accepts your tongue. Vedanta accepts the object of ears, that is name and form, color. Vedanta accepts the object of your ear, sound. Everything is accepted. All pramanas are accepted. All the objects of each pramana is accepted. Vedanta does not say This is what color? This is what color? What is the pramana? Eyes. Eyes reveal the color. Vedanta does not talk about it. It doesn't come and say it is not red, it is yellow. No. Fire is hot. That is our experience. Vedanta does not come and say fire is cold. Oh, these are all pramana for all these things is what? Your pratyaksha pramana. Vedanta has no access to that. Then what does Vedanta do with reference to Jagat? It corrects your conclusions. It corrects your conclusions. It's very, very important to know. Vedanta only corrects your conclusions. I see the part, therefore part is what? Real. That is your conclusion. I see the part, therefore part is real. I see the tree, therefore tree is real. I see the mountain, therefore mountain is real. Shastra does not say there is no mountain. Shastra does not say there is no pot. Shastra corrects your conclusion. I see, therefore it is real. That conclusion Vedanta corrects. Because you see, therefore real is not right. But the reality of the perception is dealt with by Vedanta. The reality of perception. Whatever you see, therefore it is real is wrong conclusion. Whatever you see is unreal. Another experience is there. You say whatever I experience is real, that is in waking state. In dream state what? Whatever I experience is unreal. Whatever I experience is unreal. From dream experience I come to know. Therefore, Gaudapada Acharya will say, in waking state also whatever you experience is unreal. Like what? Dream. Therefore, your experience fails. Your experience is not pramana. Experience is not pramana. We also see sun rises, sun sets. Experience. Is it real? Sun doesn't rise, sun doesn't set. Therefore, I see, therefore real is wrong conclusion. Your dream experience proves otherwise. And that is only upamanam. Shastra reveals that. You have a support of dream, Shastra reveals. Whatever you see is not real. I see, therefore real, if you conclude, that is wrong. Because whatever I see is non-separate from me. Whatever I see is non-separate from me. Consciousness. The whole Jagat is in consciousness. The part you see outside is not outside. The part thought you see, not the part outside. If the part doesn't become an object of your vritti thought, you won't see. Suppose the part is there, eyes are looking at, you may not be seeing that. Why? Mind is elsewhere. Sometimes it happens. Somebody, you are lost in your thought world. Somebody comes and sits there. Then you come back, you say, when did you come? I am sitting here for half an hour. Eyes are seeing, but did you recognize? It has to become what? Object of thought. Therefore, the whole Jagat you visualize only in the thought. The thought is non-separate from self-consciousness. The thoughts arise in consciousness, stay in consciousness, resolves in consciousness. Therefore, the whole Jagat is what? Non-separate from me. That is the reality. It is not separate from me. I see, therefore it is different from me. Not right. Because wisdom, Vedanta wisdom shows otherwise. Because nothing is separate from consciousness.
Is Atmenma Atmavat Sambhavati.
Huh?
In Kathopanishad Bhashyam, Atmena Atmavat Sambhavati Iha Vishwam.
Atmana Atmavat Sambhavati.
It's what you're saying now.
Therefore, it's Atmavat. It is all non-separate from Atma. Nothing is separate from Atma. This is Vedanta wisdom. The perceptions prove the objects are different from me. That is different from me with reference to what? Body. You are different from me with reference to body. You are non-different from me with reference to Atma. Because everything is in one consciousness. If you go further, everything is manifestation of consciousness. We don't even say non-separate from consciousness. Everything is manifestation of consciousness. That's ultimate teaching. Therefore, like water alone appears in the form of waves. Consciousness alone appears in the form of Namarupa. That is further. Therefore, this Vishaya is Atma. Prayojanam is moksha, already pointed out. Adhikari is one who has got desire to know. This Atma Vastu. Sambandha is between the subject matter and Prayojanam. Sambandha is Aikya Sambandha. Jnanam and moksha are Aikyam. For Jnanat moksha means there is no difference between Jnanam and moksha. Therefore it is a sambandha as though sambandha. Jnanam and moksha has got no sambandha because jnanam eva moksha. Elsewhere jnanam and prayojanam are different. Here it is not so. Cooking knowledge and cooking result are same. You got the cooking knowledge, how to prepare this particular pesaret. Will you get the result of pesaret? You have to prepare pesaret and eat. Then only phalam will be there. Mere knowledge doesn't have any prayojanam. Knowledge will only increase the hunger. Knowledge will not remove the hunger. Here, knowledge is result. Jnanam and moksha are one and the same. That is a sambandha here. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, since it has got all the anubandha chatushtayas are there, and the ultimate prayojanam moksha comes only from the study of the Shastra, therefore, I am trying to explain this Gita Shastra. Vivarane maya yatna kriyate, because this is ultimate. Because Gita Shastra alone gives moksha, therefore yatnaha maya kriyate. He doesn't say I make effort. Yatnaha maya kriyate. Effort is being made by me. Always they give in Tritiya. They don't say I make an effort. I make an effort means ahankara comes in. He doesn't have ahankara, but he shows how to, for us he gives guideline. When you do something, you say maya yatna kriyate, maya idam kriyate. Therefore, he says, I am trying to do some efforts to bring out this tatparya in the Gita Shastra. In the 700 verses, this is a tatparya. Pravritti lakshanam, nivritti lakshanam, all these are all there in the Gita Shastra. It was a very beautiful introduction of Bhagavad Gita. Om Tat Sat.